What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy Joe Chapo back in the building. Another edition of If They Only Knew. As always, we got your boy Mo Gucci BX. What up, Mo?
Yo, what's good? What's good? Today we got a good one, man. Special guest, man. For real.
Man, this one is legendary for the people that's probably been in a rock or a cave, under a rock or in a cave or on an island somewhere, man. We got the one, the only, the original Freeway Rick Ross. What's going on, man?
What up, man? It's all good. Sitting here with my man, Anthony Peterson.
What's going on, man?
Hey, brother. Yes, sir.
So they really got two special guests today.
Oh shit, we'll take it. We'll definitely take
that.
But shit, first of all, we got to give shout out to Major Keys for hooking this up, and your boy Troy for making this connection. Appreciate both of y'all, man.
Thank you.
But like I explained earlier, I want to get to know more of Rick Ross. Everybody knows about the legend, the stories, and all that. I want to know about you. Kind of, tell us about your childhood. I know, you started off in Texas at 5 years old. How was that?
Man, it was cool. We moved to California around 3 or 4. I moved to California. I thought Texas was cool when I was little, but when I got to California around all these people and these big lights, I was like, oh no, I was in the wrong place all the time. This is where I was supposed to be. I was like the Beverly Hillbillies.
So that was your home for you then. LA was home.
It like a huge culture shock? Like, man, I can only imagine Texas or South Central back then.
But, when I was in Texas, it wasn't many people. I didn't have many friends, or we didn't have no neighbors. So basically, it was kind of lonely. And what I found out when I got to California, I like to be around people.
Yeah.
I'm totally the opposite than most people. Most people, they don't really like to be around crowds and stuff. But I really enjoy that shit, man. I like to be around people. I don't know. I just like people. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, shit. They give you energy, man. They build you up, man. They give you what you need to keep going and shit. Unless you run across some assholes, but that's a whole different story. But definitely. Based on everything that we watched on you, tennis was like the foundation of your childhood, which is ironic because you had your kids, tennis lessons right now.
Right now, tennis lessons.
How did you ever get into tennis?
It was crazy. We had tennis courts over in the neighborhood. Matter of fact, me and Ant just come from over there. Ant did a photo shoot at the tennis courts today. That's where I started at. We was at Manchester Park. And this old guy came out and he was betting us that we couldn't hit the balls inside the box. And that's how it all started.
Oh, shit,
and he probably saved my life. Ant got a kind of glimpse of the neighborhood today. What about 20 or 30 Crips came by?
Crips. Like, what's up? I was like, what's up?
You like that. Yeah, I know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Ant is from DC. So this was his first time being around, a bunch of Crips, and he came to the park, and it was all good though. They showed mad love. He enjoyed the experience.
Yeah, that's definitely experience right there. Yeah, that's dope, man. It's cool that even after this much time, you still get this much love on the streets, man. Like, it's amazing.
It's crazy, and I was pointing out to them, where I saw the Crips having their first meetings at, and and it was just a cool situation, man. We just had a good time today. No guns, no alcohol, just a bunch of brothers just cooling out, and they allowed us to come up there and do the photo shoot, and we had no incident. So today was a good day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
In LA. Today was a good day in LA.
Yeah, that's a blessing, brother. I know that. You said tennis saved your life. So my question to you is, you felt if because I know the reason why they they cut you, which I want to get into as well, but if you would have continued tennis, you think you would have made it far?
If I wouldn't have quit tennis?
Yeah, like scholarship and all that. You think you would have made it?
Well, you know what? I didn't really know how to make it. In order to make it, you have to have the know-how. Not only do you have to be capable of making it, but you also have to have the know-how of how to make it. And I didn't have that at that time. I didn't really understand determination. I didn't understand real dedication. You know, I didn't understand that sometimes you have to be uncomfortable in yourself. You know, when I was riding up over here, me and Ant was just talking, and Ant was saying that, you know, he's getting ready to run 4 miles. And he was saying that when he runs his 4 miles, he has to run these 4 miles uncomfortably. So I don't know if when I was playing tennis, was I playing in a comfortable zone or was I playing to raise my level? And I don't think that I knew that I had the capability of either playing in a comfortable zone or lifting my play up a notch or two.
Gotcha.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you know, piggybacking off what he said as far as tennis, and the reason why he was dropped from tennis, I know since then and since your incarceration, you've learned how to read, and you've read over 300 books, and I think that's just amazing. I mean, 300 books. I mean, the wealth of knowledge that you have, I mean, is amazing.
Yeah, it is, and it's scary too. You know, sometimes I wonder, should I possess all this power, you know, that I've accumulated throughout my life on this planet? And it's scary, you know, sometimes. And then I even question myself, you know, with having this kind of power, if I'm not successful, you know, if I don't reach the levels of success that I think I should, would I consider myself a failure?
Damn.
Wow, I can't see that. You taught yourself how to read and write, correct?
I did.
That's impressive. Everybody learns that through school and shit. You know what I mean? To teach yourself, that's impressive.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and I like how you was explaining how, you know, you'll be on the yard and you be like sounding out letters on the low.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Teaching yourself how to read. I mean, in a sense, you wasn't.
You know, it's kind of embarrassing. You know, it was kind of embarrassing. You know, to be 28 years old and 29 years old and not knowing how to read. You know, it's kind of embarrassing. But at the same time, what I made my mind up is that it was better to be embarrassed that I was learning how to read, but it would be more embarrassing to stay not being able to read.
Exactly. But in all respect, you know, even still being illiterate, you was capable, you was smart enough to become a millionaire at what, 20? In your early 20s, was it, Sam?
Early 20s,
So
early 20s. I probably hit my first million at about 22, 23.
Come on, that speaks volume. So, you know, I can understand the embarrassment, but you know, the way that you maneuvered without that. Imagine if you had that at that young age. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I could only imagine where I would have been had I read a couple books, you know, and showed me how to really map out your life.
You might have got caught up in a lot of shit. You probably got caught up in. You might have viewed it different. You know?
Yeah. But what I was saying, without tennis, had I not played tennis, I probably would have been one of those guys that we saw today when we came to the park. You know, who probably right now going in and out of jail week after week, month after month.
Yeah,
that's hard.
Yeah,
that's super hard.
Definitely, that recidivism is just bananas. But you know, kind of bouncing, we're probably gonna bounce back, you know, here and there. But you know, going back to, you know, your childhood in you know, South Central, what was that like, you know, that transition? What was it like, you know, trying to fit in, trying to, you know, be part of the neighborhood? Because I know, you know, back then it was, you know, the gangs was just starting up.
Well, it was pretty easy for me because I played sports. So, you know, I always gravitated to the guys who were into sports: football, basketball, baseball, riding bikes, motorcycles. You know, I found myself being an entrepreneur most of my life. You know, probably from probably like 6 or 7 years old all the way up. I was an entrepreneur. You know, somebody who was, and what I consider entrepreneur is anybody that's looking for money, that's looking for wealth.
Yep. Yeah, your mom said it in one of the interviews, and she said, yeah, since, what was it, like 4 or 5 years old, I knew he was gonna be something by the way he thought he wanted to drive at like 4 or 5 years old. You was, trying to drive and shit. I said, that's crazy.
Yeah, I wrecked my uncle's car at like 3 or 4 years old. She left it running, and you know, I jumped in there and put it in gear, and was trying to mash on the gas.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. That's dope, man. But yeah, I mean, you know, as far as, you know, the business mind and mindset that you had at that time, and you said you was an entrepreneur. How did you go from wanting to, you know, be, you know, business savvy as far as, you know, what they consider business savvy, corporate America or whatever, to, you know, transitioning into the drug game?
Well, that was pretty simple. You know, you got somebody who has nothing going on, and somebody comes by and offer them drugs.
That was your transition came from your boy. You met Mike. Mike was an OG.
Yeah, Mike McLaurin.
Yeah, Mike McClellan. Yeah, he was an OG from your time or your age bracket.
He was a few years older than me. I think Mike might have been like 4 or 5 years older than I was. You know, when you talk about 19, and if somebody 3 or 4 years older than you, it's a nice little gap. Not a big gap, but it's still a pretty nice gap. And he probably was a little more advanced than I was. Tennis kind of made me kind of a square, if you understand. I spent all my time on the tennis court. You know, I spent very little time anywhere else, so I really didn't know much other than being on the tennis court.
Wow. So that was a change for you then. That was drastic. That was from playing sports, and now I'm in the streets.
Yeah.
It was drastic, you know, but I needed something. You know, I felt lost, and I needed something to hold on to. I needed a crutch. You know, I didn't think that I could stand on my own.
Wow, I get it.
So if that was the case, why didn't you just join the gang and just be part of an organization?
Well, I would have joined. And that's why I said tennis saved me, because I would have joined the gang had I not found tennis. I found tennis at about 12 and a half, maybe 13 years old. I found tennis. At that time, I wanted to be a gang member.
Yeah.
But my mama was one of the ones that, you know, she clucked you in the head with a broomstick.
Yeah, my mom was that too.
Telephone card. You know, she didn't.
Yeah.
She read the Bible where it said, "Don't spare the rod with your child." She took that to heart.
I mean, that's the way to do it, man. Like, that's the way we was raised, and it kind of, you know, kept us out of, you know, some trouble, at least, because we thought about, yo, my mom's gonna kick my ass if I get busted, man. So it kind of worked a little bit.
And that's the way it was with me. But I know, had I got like 14 to 15, she wouldn't have been able to do that no more.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you got into the game, how did your mom feel about that?
Well, it took a while before she found out. But when she found out, she didn't like it.
I'm sure.
Yeah, she put me out of her house.
Oh, damn, yo.
All this stuff is in my book.
Yeah. Well, you know,
we talk about it, so for the people that gonna watch that all these under the rock dudes.
Yeah. Well, they better go read the book. Them under the rock.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, shit, let's kind of talk about the book. I mean, like I said, everybody knows your lifestyle. I want to know about you, man. Let's talk about you have a new book coming out, right?
I'm working on a book right now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm working on it right now. I think the name is gonna be Why Niggas Don't Want Money. I think that's what I'm gonna call.
It's definitely catchy.
Well, you know, it's funny, and when I say that, I don't mean no particular color of a person. You know, it's a mindset that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a color of a skin.
Yeah, definitely. So what makes this book different from your last?
Well, my last book was about my first 6 months getting out of prison, and we basically wrote that book on me working a certain set of principles that I had learned out of some other books. So that book was kind of like an experiment.
Okay. That's dope though, man. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Uh,
The
well,
famous question I'm sure you get everywhere, right? How did you feel about rapper using your name?
You know, it's a double-edged sword. You know, it's kind of flattering to have somebody to think enough about you that they name themselves after you. But the way he went about it was disrespectful, I believe.
Okay.
yeah. I mean, he should definitely made you a part of it. He should have broke you off something. Like, I just don't understand how you could take somebody's identity and not, bless them. Like, it just makes zero sense.
Yeah, he could have. I mean, you know, and I know the guy loves me. Or he used to love me. He may not love me no more since I say so much stuff about him. But at one time, he had a lot of, huh?
Truth is the truth. You're entitled to speak yours. You know.
Yeah, I know he had a lot of love and admiration for me. You know, usually when somebody tattoo somebody's name on their arm, it's usually a dead homie. You know, somebody that they lost that they really cared about. But when he tattooed my name on his hands, you know, and I understand that a lot of people had considered me dead when I was in prison. You know, LA Magazine, they wrote my obituary. So a lot of people had counted me out. And he probably felt like that. And he probably felt that he was paying homage to his homie or to his idol, you know, somebody he really, really loved and cherished by tattooing my name on his hands. But he never came and said it. You know, usually when somebody do that, they'll come and say, man, this is my homie. Me and him was ride or die. I'll do this for him. I'll do that. Whatever, you know, whatever the scenario is, you know, they would come and say that after they tattoo the person on their arm. But he never said that. He made up some cockamamie story about how he invented the name, Rick Ross.
There's no way, man. There's no way you can just invent Rick Ross out of nowhere. Yeah, come on, man. Nah, hell no.
Yeah, well, somebody was trying to call him Big Boss, and they accidentally said Rick Ross.
Nah, hell no, man. They probably all sitting around smoking a blunt like, how are we gonna fucking twist this shit, yo? How are we gonna twist it? Big balls, Rick Ross. There you go. Like, that doesn't even make sense. That's some high shit right there. And the fact is the court brought this shit pretty much. Like, they brought it to what he was saying.
Well, no, they didn't really bind to what he was saying. They basically said that I didn't have any standing because I should have filed my lawsuit 5 days before I did. So that's what killed the lawsuit.
Yeah,
not that they believed him, but they never got to the merits of the case.
That's crazy.
That part pissed me off, especially in your documentary, man, to see that, you lost that, and then you had to pay his legal fees, right? On top of that, like that.
Yeah, I owe him right now. I think I owe him like $500,000, $1 million or something like that in attorney fees.
He should off the fact that he's using identity, he should just wipe that out. Like, that's crazy that he even countersued for that.
I don't think he had the money. Universal did that. You know, Universal footed his bill. They said the bill was $1.5 million. They spent $1.5 million fighting me, and they didn't offer me $50,000.
That's crazy.
Much cheaper. Like,
that's crazy.
I don't even like that shit is bananas. It's bananas. I don't ever see how he could sit in his own conscience and know that he took your identity and not to pay the homage that he should be paying.
He's rich right now. Well, what do you?
He's rich. Yo, bless him. Yo, like, bring him out on stage. Yo, like, invest in him. Yo, like, come on, man. Like, every interview that I seen, you always was, everything was business. The next business that you get into, the business you're going, you working with now. Like, you could have turned whatever he gave you into millions of dollars just with the knowledge that you have.
No question.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, and the fact that he was a CO on top of that.
Yeah. Well, it's the age of fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
Yeah, basically, for real. So let me ask you, I know at one point.
Then when you faking, you can get caught up.
Yeah,
and you forget that you're trying to make it, and you just go ahead and be a fake.
Exactly.
Yep. But believe me, the tables turn on everybody. Everybody got their day that they're gonna have to, put their hand out for some help. And Karma's a bitch. She exists for real. I don't wish no bad on nobody. you know, but in life is just how the ball bounces. You know what I mean? But
No question. No question.
I know you crossed paths in your younger days with Suge Knight, right? I know you never got involved in the industry. And what was the reason behind that? Why you never got your feet wet I'm sure they were, I'm
So
sure
I
they were
did.
throwing deals and shit at
I messed around in hip hop a little bit. I bought products.
Yeah, yeah.
And
remember that.
I also financed Anita Baker's album through Beverly Glenn. I was the financier behind Beverly Glenn music.
Nice.
So I was in it. I just didn't I didn't stick with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they would tell you that hip hop was the next big thing, but you didn't believe it. Like,
No, they wasn't telling me that it was two. I had two groups of people that I was talking to.
sure.
I was talking to people like Dick Griffey, Otis Smith, Barry Gordy, and then I was listening to the young guys, DJ Pooh, King T, who basically these guys at that time had did nothing in the music business, and these other guys had platinum records. So it was like, who you gonna listen to?
Yeah.
And the older guys were saying that hip hop was gonna be like a disco.
Imagine if it went that way. This would be a whole different world, man.
A whole different world.
Absolutely.
Shit.
We wouldn't know the world today if it was like.
Yeah, man. But a lot of people, when I told people that I was gonna, do this interview, a lot of people ask me the same thing. What was it like going in as Freeway Rick Ross into prison? As this big, this big character, not character, but this big Freeway Rick Ross, the big name, the big,
They love me in prison too. Yeah, I got love. Man. Some guards didn't like me, but for the most part, the inmates, they showed me mad love.
That's dope. That's dope. Because a lot of times there's jealousy that comes along with that.
Well, you're going to get jealousy. You talk about a prison with 2,000, 2,500 people there. You're going to have some guys that don't like you, for sure.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I had my way.
Yeah.
So from the rip, first day walking through, everything was green light. Or was it something like I'm walking into a whole different world?
I mean, for myself, I felt like that. Nervous, uncertain. You go into an uncertain territory. You don't know what the deal is. Yeah, but it after being there and circulating and it was no big deal.
Yeah.
Was there anything you experienced or anything that you've seen in there that really stuck with you?
I mean, prison is a violent place.
Yeah.
You could get hurt. You could come in prison and you can have 1 month to do and get killed. And I saw that happen before. So, but when you're a critical thinker and you're a survivor, you learn how to maneuver around.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I mean, that kind of comes to this these set of words right here. Continuous criminal spree. The most famous words. Can you kind of explain? Because even today, I'm sure there's people that really doesn't know the difference between that and a career criminal.
Well, a career criminal is somebody who commits a crime, go to prison, gets out, commit another crime, go to prison, get out, commit another crime, then he's a career criminal. A continual criminal spree is a person who's committing crime continuously but never gets caught. Now, when he does get caught, he could have committed crime in multiple jurisdictions, which means that he could get multiple convictions, but they're considered as one arrest.
And when you was reading through your paperwork, how many times did you, pass that information before it popped up? These words popped out to you. This is something that you continuously read?
I don't know. I believe the first time I saw him was the time that I saw him, but I can't really say. You don't know what you missed if you missed it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I just know when I did find them, you know, that I was excited and that I knew I was on my way home.
Oh, I'm sure. Now, we did an interview with a gentleman that was pardoned
That's it.
by Obama, and he said when the whole, when everybody found out he's going home, it was like a celebration. Was this something, when you was going home, did you get that same love?
No, because I went home. I did. I mean, it was a celebration for me. They announced my reversal on the radio, so the whole prison knew before I did. I was on the telephone when I got my reversal. So I heard the prison celebrating, cheering for me. But I was on the telephone, and I didn't know they was cheering for me until a kid ran over to the telephone to tell me I just won my case.
Yeah, man,
That's crazy.
that had to be a feeling and a half right there, man.
And at that point, you was already, what you said, 20 years in, right? At that point?
No, I only had 9 years in then.
Okay. Still, damn.
Yeah.
That's a
What was
stress.
that? What was the preparation like coming home for that? Did you have the mindset like, I mean, this is it. I can't do this anymore. Like,
No, I was ready when I came home. I was preparing to come home when I went to jail.
Yeah.
I started studying and reading, and as soon as I learned how to read, I started studying and reading and mapping out plans for myself. That's why the stuff that I'm doing now, people might think that it's good fortune or luck or whatever, but I'm well polished. I'm well disciplined, and I have a great game plan.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
Amazing.
Like I said, everything I've seen you on has always been business. What can I do? How can I elevate? What am I? The next thing I'm working on. You was always thinking to the next. Which is
that's
dope.
one of my problems is that that I can't get my mind off of business. I love it, and I treat everything almost, even my kids. I treat my kids almost like a business. I believe that the family, they are businesses. It's one of your first lines of work, because if you can't get the family right, and then nothing else is gonna be right.
Yeah.
So through all your trials and tribulations, you had a good relationship with your kids throughout, or something you had to build up?
No, I went to prison. My kids was 5 years old. My oldest kids was 5 when I went to prison. So we didn't really have a relationship at all.
So that happened when you came home.
Yeah, well, we building. I got 2 new kids now. I got 2 new ones that I'm hoping to be in their life, until they're grown. But just in general, even right now with my kids, even though they're grown now, I still treat them as business. There's certain things that must take place in order for things to work properly.
Exactly.
Definitely. So are you working on anything, anything you could mention at this time? Is there anything in place?
Well, not this Saturday coming, but next Saturday, Anthony got a big fight in DC. Okay. So if anybody seeing this, come out to the fight, hang out with your boy. Anthony is probably gonna be the first one of my boxers that they get a world title. We chasing a world title now. Nice. I got about 6 to 9 guys that I'm working with, and one of my goals is to become the king of boxing.
Nice.
Also, I'm in the marijuana industry. I'm opening my dispensary. I'm also building a marijuana grow. I'm also in the movie industry. I'm working on a motion picture right now. We hoping to be shooting that maybe in the next 3 to 6 months. Amazing. What else? What else I'm doing? My clothing line. I just started a trucking company.
What's the clothing line like?
It's the
this is one shirts I got on right here, and then I got the one.
I like the colors. That logo's dope.
The famous one, the real Rick Ross is not a rapper. That's the one that everybody like. I stopped manufacturing that, but I think I'm gonna start back because everybody keep asking. Everybody wants one of those, so I'm gonna start back manufacturing those.
Where they can find them at?
Yeah, I was just
Oh,
gonna say, find everything.
they-
out.
They can get that and my books off my website, freewayrickyross.com. I'm also working on a new website where I'm going to have a music contest to see who's the best artist that's unsigned.
I gotta get with that because I have an artist that I manage that I'm pushing, so I could involve him in that for sure.
Where we giving away, we're going to give a budget of $300,000 to the winner.
Okay.
Album. Also, we have 4 major producers who has already agreed to produce the winner, one song for the winner for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna try to find the best artist in the country, in the world.
And when's that going on?
Well, we working on the site right now. As soon as the site get ready, we're gonna make the announcement.
Okay.
But I've been kind of like putting little fillers out already
Yeah.
to see, you know, what the interest is like. Who gonna be scared to get on there and show their stuff.
Word. That's dope. We do a lot of that. We big on hip hop and music, and on the channel we do a lot of stuff on Fridays, open mics and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I know that you're at, with the family. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I would love to bring you back on where we could really
we can set something up and like I said, maybe we come on, me and Anna come on and we talk some boxing.
Yeah, I would love to do that, man. I would love to hear his story on his journey to boxing, man.
Yeah, you know, he got an interesting story. His brother was 2-time world champ.
Wow.
They was orphans, and their manager adopted them.
Wow.
And took advantage of them.
Wow.
Yeah, we definitely would love to hear
that. Yeah, man.
Maybe next week we could do this again. I'll be in Washington, D.C. Yeah, next week, Washington, D.C., getting ready for the fight.
Definitely.
Yeah. Good luck with all that, man. Salute.
I know it was a lot of back and forth with us and technical difficulties, but I really appreciate taking your time out, man.
During the middle of the day is always a bad time for me because I'm always busy during the middle of the day.
Now, for sure. Next time we'll just line it whenever your time is ready, and we'll work around your schedule because we pretty much do our own thing. So
I appreciate it.
Of course, brother.
Safe out there. We appreciate you. You're part of the iTalk family now. So,
thank y'all. Hey, and tell your family they can follow me at Freeway Rick on Instagram, Freeway Rick Ross on Facebook, and on Twitter, Freeway Rick on Twitter.
I'm gonna put everything in the description for you.
My website is freewayrickyross.com. Don't buy my book from Amazon, please. Thank y'all.
Word. Yo, brother.
Stay safe, man.
Listen,
hopefully next week.
Cool.
Yo, appreciate it. Yo, Mo, another one in the bag, yo.
Fishing.
If you only knew.
You already know.